I'm Jennifer Angel. This is my snapshot report for you, Aquarius, for the week of July the 13th. Now, there's a lot of activity happening this week. There's a lot of confronting, some challenging aspects, but there's also some inspirational aspects as well. So it's like certainly there is the very real possibility of things to be able to change around this week. Okay, now I would encourage you to go and have a look at the weekly overview report. It's a longer report, around 10 minutes. You know, I try to keep these weekly individual reports quite short, 2 to 4 minutes. So, you know, it's just like a quick sort of recap of what's going on. But the weekly planetary overview report, I go into each of the aspects, and that's, you know, well worth having a listen to if you can spare the time. Now, I did make an error towards the end of that video report where I mentioned Mars and Venus conjunct, where it should have been Mars and Mercury. Those two planets have very similar symbols. Okay, all right, let's have a look at your individual report here. So there's 2 oppositions, 3 squares, a conjunction, 1 trine. So it's a busy week. As I said, it's, you know, the squares and the oppositions are quite challenging depending on what, you know, planets there between, and there are some very real challenges and uncertainties and possibly some frustrations that are going to happen this week. But as I said, it's going to help you move things, and that's what we like. So when things are all rosy, then, you know, we don't get the progress that we want and the growth. So let's start off with your solar 6th house, because we've got Mars, the Sun, and Mercury all sitting in this area of your chart. This is the area of your chart to do with your day-to-day business, getting organized, being productive. It also is very much to do with your health and well-being and balance in your life. So there's a need to, you know, to put out and cater to your responsibilities, get yourself organized, but also not to let yourself fall out and go to the bottom of the list in the mix of all that. So keeping that in mind, let's start with the oppositions with Pluto. Pluto sits in the sign before you, so there's an opposition with Mars and Pluto. Now, Mars is often the trigger that helps us just get motivated to do things. So Pluto is a very transformational planet. So it's like if you haven't been happy with how things have been going at the office or work or with career or with business, then this week you can really transform that. But, you know, keep in mind that sometimes for things to go right, they have to first go wrong. And yeah, I know that's a bummer, but that's the way it happens. It's got to like break it down before it can then build it up. And there is a new moon in this area of your chart as well. So that does indicate that once things are, you know, broken down, then this nice fertile new moon energy is there to help you, you know, restructure and build up again. Now this comes through with also we've got Saturn sitting back now for a short time in your solar 10th house of career, and it has a square with Venus. Now Venus is in your area of relationships, but there's so much going on with your work. I tend to think this is more to do with relationships around work. So there could be some uncertainty there. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, you can get good news through, which can be the result of someone else's bad news. So, you know, it's a day by day this week. Don't make any assumptions. Don't try to be too reactive. Don't try to get too stressed out about things. See what falls apart and what comes together. Okay, at the end of the week, things are likely to be quite different than at the start of the week, or certainly for next week. Now, we do have 2 squares with your ruling planet, which is Uranus, and Uranus sits in your solar 3rd house, very much to do with communication, very much to do with learning new skills. And the squares are in that area of your 6th house to do with work and your productivity. So it's likely you'll be having some communications and things will be changing around, okay? But that doesn't mean they're going to be for the worse. Certainly with the energy of the new moon there, it can open up something new. I hope so. Let me know how it goes. I hope you have an inspiring week on some levels. I'm Jennifer Angel. Thanks for watching.